God says, you did two bizarre things, and now someone is completely spooked. There is something happening around you right now that you are completely unaware of. Something quiet, something invisible, something that lives in the space between what you say out loud and what you carry in your soul. And the most extraordinary part, you did it. You caused it. Not through force, not through manipulation, not through any calculated move or strategic plan, but through two things you did without even realizing their power. Two things that looked so ordinary, so unremarkable in the moment, that you probably didn't give them a second thought. But someone else did. Someone in your life is still thinking about those two moments. They are turning them over and over in their mind, like smooth stones in a river. They are unsettled, they are shaken, they are, in the truest sense of the word, spooked, and they cannot explain why. God wants you to hear this today because you have been wondering. You have been asking in the quiet corners of your prayer, in the spaces between sleep and waking, why certain people in your life seem different toward you lately. Why someone who once moved easily around you now seems to pause. Why someone who used to look at you a certain way now looks at you like they are trying to read a language they've never studied. Why there is a new energy, not hostile, not warm, but something deeper and stranger than either, that moves through the room whenever you enter. You have felt it, but couldn't name it. You have sensed the shift, but didn't know what caused it. Today God is pulling back the curtain. Today the hidden is made visible. The first bizarre thing you did was change your vibration without announcing it. And this silent, unspoken transformation is one of the most disorienting things a human being can witness in another person. Most people, when they decide to grow, when they decide to heal, when they decide to elevate their lives, feel the need to make it known. They post about it, they talk about it, they wear it like a billboard on their chest. They need the acknowledgement because deep down they are still performing the transformation for an audience rather than living it for themselves. But you did something different. You changed, quietly, deeply, without fanfare, without announcement, without asking anyone's permission or waiting for anyone's approval. You simply became, and this, to the people around you, is terrifying in the most sacred sense of that word. When someone you've known for years, someone who had you filed neatly in a mental folder, categorized, predictable, understood, suddenly carries a different energy, the human mind struggles. The soul of that person recognizes something profound has happened, but the human mind resists what it cannot categorize. They will try to rationalize it. They will tell themselves, you seem tired or distracted, or maybe you're just in a mood. But deep down, in the part of them that knows things before the mind can articulate them, they know. They know something fundamental has shifted. They know the version of you they memorized no longer walks in the room. And they don't know what to do with that knowledge. This is the spooking. This is the unsettling. It's not about anything dramatic you said or any bold move you made. It's about the frequency you're now carrying. Calm where you were once anxious. Rooted where you were once scattered. Present where you were once absent from yourself. That calmness is actually the most alarming thing to a person who is used to managing you, predicting you, or positioning themselves in relation to your instability. When the chaos they were accustomed to goes quiet, they don't feel relief. They feel unmoored. Because the dynamic they understood, the one that gave them their footing in relation to you, has dissolved. And you didn't even say a word. Think about the last few weeks of your life. Think about the mornings you woke up, and instead of immediately reaching for your phone, you lay still for a moment and breathed. Think about the times when someone tried to pull you into drama, and something in you simply didn't bite. Not because you were suppressing a reaction, but because you genuinely felt unmoved. Think about the moment you looked at a situation that would have previously spiraled you into anxiety and felt something settle in your chest instead of fracture. Think about the prayer you said, not from desperation, but from a place of actual trust. None of those moments felt miraculous to you in the instant. They felt almost mundane, but they were not mundane. They were monumental. They were the visible evidence of an invisible renovation happening inside you. And sensitive people, people who are spiritually attuned, even people who would never use that language, can feel those renovations. They can feel the before and the after, even when no one announced the construction. God is telling you, you have been underestimating the power of your own peace. You have been treating your stillness like it's nothing. You have been carrying a quiet authority and wondering why people keep doing double takes. This is why. Your changed vibration preceded you into every room before you even opened your mouth. And someone, the someone God is drawing your attention to right now, felt it and has not recovered from the feeling. They are spooked, not because you are scary, but because you are becoming undeniable. Because something in their spirit recognizes something in yours. Because the light you've been quietly cultivating is now strong enough that people who are still in the dark cannot look at it directly without flinching. Now let us speak of the second bizarre thing. The second thing you did that sent a particular person into a quiet, invisible spiral. The thing that has them lying awake at odd hours, mentally revisiting conversations, studying your face in their memory, trying to decode what happened. The second bizarre thing you did was love without needing anything back. And this is rarer than people understand. This is so rare that when most people encounter it, their first response is not gratitude. Their first response is suspicion. Their first response is that ancient human question, what do you want from me? Because in their experience, in the architecture of every relationship they have ever known, love is transactional. Love is a currency exchanged for security, or validation, or control, or belonging. No one simply loves. No one simply extends warmth without keeping a mental ledger, without expecting repayment in kind, without at some point presenting the bill. But something changed in you. Maybe it was something you went through. Maybe it was a loss that cracked you open. Maybe it was a long season of silence where God stripped away all the noise and left you with just the truth of what you actually feel. Maybe it was a moment of grace so profound that it rewired something in your chest. Whatever it was, something happened that made you capable, truly, genuinely capable, of giving without grasping, of being kind without keeping score, of caring for someone not because of what they could offer in return, but because your love had simply outgrown the need for reciprocation. And you offered this love to someone who had never experienced anything like it, and it broke something open in them. Here is what happens when a wounded person receives unconditional love from someone they did not expect it from. First, they freeze. The heart has a kind of immune response to things it cannot categorize. Something that doesn't match any previous experience gets treated as an anomaly, and the mind throws up a wall. They might pull away. They might act cooler toward you. They might become strangely formal or distant. They might even act as though something is wrong, as though you've done something to upset them, when what has actually happened is that you've done something to unsettle the architecture of their emotional world. The love you gave them didn't fit in any drawer they had. It had no hook to hang itself on, and so it just sat there in the middle of their chest, strange and glowing and impossible to ignore. And then comes the second phase, the obsessive remembering. They replay the thing you said, the offhand comment that was genuinely kind, the moment you showed up for them without making a production of it, the way you looked at them as though they were worth seeing, the patience you extended when they least deserved it. They replay it and they pick it apart. They try to find the angle. They try to locate the manipulation. They try to discover the catch, because their entire experience of human connection has taught them that catches exist, that love has conditions written in invisible ink, that warmth is always a preamble to something being taken. And when they cannot find the catch, when they excavate every corner of the exchange and find nothing but genuine care, they do not feel relief. They feel something far more complicated than relief. They feel exposed. They feel seen. They feel, perhaps for the first time in a long time, something perilously close to safe. And safety, for a person who has been hurt enough times, is the most terrifying thing in the world. This is the person God is talking about right now. This is the someone who is completely spooked by you, not because you are dangerous, not because you did anything wrong, but because you did something so right that it blew apart every story they had been telling themselves about what people are, what love is, and what they deserve. You disrupted their entire worldview with 2 acts of invisible, unremarkable, quiet grace. And they will not be the same because of it. They cannot be. You got through. You got past every wall, every deflection, every practiced indifference. Not by force, not by persistence, not by any strategy, but by the simple, radical act of being genuinely, peacefully, freely yourself. God wants you to understand something very important about this moment. The spooking is not the end of the story. It is the beginning. What you are witnessing in this person, whether it manifests as distance, or nervousness, or strange behavior, or an unusual intensity in their attention, is not rejection. It is processing. It is the soul doing the slow, sacred work of dismantling old structures to make room for something new. A person who has been living in the dark does not immediately relax into the light. They squint, they shield their eyes. They might even stumble backward for a moment, disoriented, unused to seeing so clearly. But this does not mean they want the darkness back. It means the light is real, and it is working, and the discomfort is evidence of genuine transformation beginning. You need to hear this because there may have been a part of you that interpreted this person's strange behavior as a sign that you did something wrong, that maybe you were too much, too available, too open, too real. The enemy of your peace loves to take evidence of your growth and dress it up as evidence of failure. He loves to look at the impact you're having on someone's soul and convince you that their discomfort is your fault in the negative sense, that you should pull back, close up, become smaller, become safer, become less. Do not believe this lie. The discomfort you are causing in this person is not the discomfort of wrongness. It is the discomfort of rightness. It is the productive ache of expansion. It is the way a muscle feels when it has finally been used after years of neglect. It is healing doing what healing does. It is not comfortable, but it is good. God is also asking you to sit with another layer of this truth, the layer that asks you to look at yourself with new eyes, because here is something that the spiritually immature never discover. The things that unsettle people about you most profoundly are always the things you are most unconscious of. The things you are performing, the things you are trying to project, the things you are deliberately cultivating as part of an image. Those things rarely move people to the depths. People can sense performance. Performance creates admiration at best, envy at worst, but it does not spook. It does not penetrate. What penetrates is authentic. What reaches past all the defenses is real. And the 2 things you did not do them on purpose. You did not sit down and calculate a vibration shift. You did not craft a strategy for loving without expectation. These things came out of you the way water comes out of a rock, under pressure, under grace, after long formation in the deep. This means the most powerful version of you is not the one you are trying to show the world. It is the one that emerges when you stop trying. It is the one that shows up in the unremarkable Tuesday afternoons, in the half-noticed moments of genuine kindness, in the stillness that falls over your face when you have finally made peace with something you used to fight. This is the version that leaves people stunned. This is the version that walks into a room and changes the temperature without saying a word. This is the version that someone is currently lying awake thinking about. Not the curated version, not the version that knows what to say and when to say it. The real one, the surrendered one, the one that God has been patiently, lovingly, relentlessly bringing forth through every season of your life, through every loss, every humbling, every dark night, every prayer that felt like shouting into silence. Now let us talk about what you do with this knowledge. Because God doesn't bring revelation without purpose. He doesn't show you the hidden workings of the world around you, just so you can collect the information and move on. Every revelation carries within it a responsibility, a call, an invitation to rise. And the invitation embedded in this particular revelation is this: do not stop. Do not let the strangeness of their reaction cause you to doubt the realness of what you found. Do not let their temporary distance convince you to go back to being less. Do not interpret their processing as your failure. And above all, do not stop loving the way you have learned to love. This is a moment where so many people make the critical mistake. They experience the discomfort their growth causes in others, and they shrink. They tell themselves the story that they asked for too much, that they were too vulnerable, that they gave too freely, and it made things weird. And they pull back into old patterns, old smallness, old strategies of self-protection. And the tragedy of this is immeasurable, not just for them, but for every person who might have been reached by their genuine, unguarded, transformed self. Every time someone shrinks back from their authentic greatness, the world loses something it desperately needs. The person you are becoming is not a burden to the people around you. The person you are becoming is medicine. God is saying to you, hold your ground, not with rigidity, not with a hardened heart, not with a need to prove anything, but with the quiet confidence of someone who has discovered something true. The truth you've discovered is that peace is real, that love without conditions is real, that transformation is possible and it is occurring, and it carries a power that cannot be manufactured or faked. Hold that truth, even when the people around you seem disoriented by it. Hold it especially then, because their disorientation is confirmation, not contradiction. The things of real worth always create a disturbance in shallow water. And what about this person specifically? The one who is spooked, the one who cannot stop thinking about what happened, the one who is somewhere right now, in a quiet moment, asking themselves questions they don't have words for. What is God saying about them? He is saying, be patient. He is saying, this is not the time to press in or to push for resolution. The soul needs room to do its work. When something genuine breaks through a wall that has been built over years, sometimes decades, of accumulated hurt and learned protection, the debris needs to settle before the new architecture can be seen clearly. Give them time, not cold distance, but warm space. Not retreat, but a gentle, steady presence that doesn't require anything from them in return. Which is, of course, exactly what spooked them in the first place. Your presence that asks for nothing. Your care that has no invoice attached. This is where it gets profound, because the thing that spooked them is also the thing that will eventually draw them. The thing they are currently retreating from is the thing their soul is moving toward. This is the paradox of authentic human connection. Real love looks dangerous to the defended heart precisely because it is so safe. It looks like a threat precisely because it is an invitation. And the invitation goes like this: you are allowed to be seen. You are allowed to be loved without performing for it. You are allowed to put down the weight of who you've been pretending to be and simply be. And that invitation, issued not through words, but through the lived reality of who you have become, is the most compelling thing one human being can offer another. Think about the greatest moments of transformation in your own life. Were they loud? Were they dramatic? Or were they quiet? Were they a single conversation with someone who looked at you without judgment? A moment when someone extended grace you didn't earn? A gesture so small it could have been missed, but instead it broke something loose in your chest that had been locked for years? The most transformative moments in human lives are almost never the big public declarations. They are the small, private, barely noticed acts of genuine humanity. They are the moments when someone forgot to perform and just was, and in the being, in the unguarded genuine presence, something ancient in the watching soul said, "Oh, yes, that, I want that, I want to be around that, I want to understand what that is." You are that thing for someone right now. You, in your growth, in your peace, in your unannounced transformation, in your capacity to love without keeping score. You are that moment for someone. You are the thing that broke loose in someone's chest, and they don't know what to do about it yet. They are sitting with the loosened thing, confused by it, a little frightened of it, turning it over in their hands and trying to understand its shape. But God is already tending to it. God is already working in the space you created with your two bizarre, unconscious, powerful acts of grace. You planted seeds in soil you didn't even know you were walking on, and now the work is happening underground, invisible to you, invisible even to them, happening at a level below conscious awareness, where the deepest and most permanent changes always begin. Here is what God needs you to carry with you from this moment forward. Your ordinary days are not ordinary. The small choices you make without thinking, to respond with patience instead of irritation, to show up without needing credit, to pray without performing, to sit in the discomfort of uncertainty without scrambling to fill it with noise, to extend one more moment of genuine care to a person who doesn't expect it. These are not small acts, they are seismic. They register in the spiritual atmosphere around you in ways that human senses are too blunt to detect, but that souls, the sensitive ones, the hurting ones, the searching ones, feel with a precision that later astonishes them. You have been asking God for impact. You have been asking for your life to mean something. You have been wondering whether the unseen work, the quiet faithfulness, the private surrender, is adding up to anything at all. Today God answers that question. Today He lifts the veil just enough for you to see what has been happening just beneath the surface of the everyday. Someone is completely spooked by you. Someone's world has been quietly rearranged by who you are becoming. Someone is asking questions they have never asked before because of two things you did without even noticing. And if two unconscious acts of authentic living could do this, imagine what happens as you continue to grow. Imagine what happens as the peace deepens, as the love becomes more practiced, as the vibration you carry becomes clearer and more consistent. Imagine the rooms you will walk into and change simply by entering them. Imagine the walls that will quietly develop cracks, then quietly crumble, just from sustained contact with the frequency you are now carrying. Imagine the prayers that will be answered not with fanfare, but with a series of small, barely noticed moments of genuine grace flowing through you like water through stone, shaping, softening, making possible what was once impossible. This is your calling, not a calling to greatness in the sense that the world defines it, not fame, not platform, not applause, a calling to authenticity so complete, so polished by God's long and patient work in your life, that it functions like a natural force, like gravity, like light, not something you do, but something you are. And the becoming, the long, often painful, always purposeful process of becoming what God made you to be, is the work, that is the daily discipline. Not a discipline of performance, but a discipline of surrender. Not a discipline of doing more, but a discipline of allowing more. Allowing God to remove the layers that don't belong to you. Allowing the peace that passes understanding to actually pass through you and not just past you, allowing your love to stop being cautious and start being free. The person who is spooked by you right now may one day be the person most changed by you. The person currently flinching from your light may one day be the person who finds their way to their own. The person lying awake wondering what happened may one day point to those two moments, those two bizarre, unremarkable, world-altering moments, as the beginning of something they cannot imagine their life without. And you won't have done it with a grand gesture. You won't have done it with the right words or the perfect timing or a strategy carefully constructed and executed. You will have done it the way God does everything, quietly, underneath, through what looks like nothing, through what felt to you like Tuesday, through the simple and the genuine and the unannounced, through a changed vibration that preceded you into the room, through love that asked for nothing and offered everything. This is what God is saying to you today. This is the truth He is pressing into your hands. You are more powerful than you know. Your peace is more contagious than you realize. Your love, freed from the prison of performance and expectation, carries a charge that the world is desperate for and rarely finds. And you, just as you are, just in the ordinary living of your surrendered, transformed, still becoming life, you are already changing people in ways they cannot name, cannot explain, and cannot forget. Keep going, keep being, keep surrendering the old versions, keep making room for the new, keep praying the honest prayers, keep sitting in the discomfort of growth with your hands open instead of clenched, keep loving without the ledger, keep carrying the peace that cost you everything to find, keep walking into the rooms you're meant to walk into, and trusting that what God placed in you will do what God placed it there to do. Someone is spooked, someone is awake, someone is asking questions that will eventually lead them somewhere beautiful. And at the start of that journey, if you could trace it back to its origin point, you would find two moments, two small, unnoticed, completely extraordinary moments. Two things you did that you didn't even realize were anything at all. Watching God use the ordinary to do the miraculous. Watching grace move through human hands without those hands even feeling the current. This is your life. This is what is happening right now, today, in the invisible architecture of your relationships and your impact and your God-ordained purpose. You are not behind, you are not unseen, you are not wasted. You are in motion, the deep, powerful, underground motion of a river that has found its path and is now moving with the certainty of water that knows where it is going. Let it move, let it all move, and know that God sees every bit of it, every quiet act, every surrendered moment, every morning you chose peace over panic and trust over control. He sees it, He is using it, and the evidence, if you needed it, if you doubted it, is someone, somewhere, right now, completely unsettled by the grace they encountered in you, trying to understand something their mind cannot hold, but their soul already knows. Go in peace, go in power, go knowing that who you are, exactly as you are in this moment of your becoming, is already enough, is already more than enough to change the world you walk through. One room, one moment, one unconscious act of holy grace at a time.